So Naren, what sparked your interest to start training jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so I mean, it was 2021. I was a senior in college. I was like lifting weights like pretty regularly, just staying active. My roommate at the time was like, "Oh, I want to try this gym. Is this frequency?" He was trying to get. We were living in a house of 4 guys, and he's trying to get one of us to go. Just out of nowhere, I was like, "You know what? I'll go. I'll check it out." Wasn't really sure what to expect. It's kind of like, "Oh, I'll lift like 3 times a week. I'll do jiu-jitsu like once a week or something just to get some cardio in." Because, that's how I was. It was kind of just like lifting weights, hated running, so this would be perfect. I come to the first day. Brianna's in my intro class coach with my roommate at the time. And I'm like, we're doing like these line drills before everybody comes in. I'm like getting a sweat in. I'm like, wow, here we go. Here's my cardio. And I'm asking her like, how many times do you like come in? I'm just like making small talk. And she's like, much smaller than me. And she's saying like, she gets in at least once a day. And I was like, kind of blew me away. And I was like, how would you train once a day? Like, I couldn't even imagine that. And then I started rolling and I just fell in love with it. I remember my first day, we're doing triangles and arm bars. And, ever since then, I just started training, up my training once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. And the next thing you know, I was training like every day. I wasn't lifting anymore. So I really just fell in love with it the first day I came in.
So you were at Illinois State University. You started training as a senior. You graduated. How long did it take you to find a school out there?
So yeah, I was training here. I was here for about 2 years. Then I moved. I was kind of around like bounced around the Midwest for a little. I moved to Boston, been there for 2 years. And it took a while, it was not easy for sure. I was at like one gym for like a couple months. I was in Chicago for like about 2 months while I was training for my new job. Eventually I got to Boston and then I checked out like 3 different gyms. One gym I went in, first day, didn't like it, left. This gym I was going to all the time and it was just kind of far out of my way. So I was like, I'll check out another one, maybe a little closer, completely different culture, different vibe, different instructor. So even though it was a little bit farther away, maybe a little bit more expensive than the other gyms, it was definitely worth it in my opinion. And so then I got, acclimated there. I got close with the team, the community, and now I feel like a big part of myself is there too.
You mentioned the culture of the schools that you were looking at. How would you describe the culture at Frequency Martial Arts, and how did that help you fall in love with the sport?
Yeah, I mean, I would describe it as a community for sure. I think every time I come back, I always message Professor Ed and I ask him like, "Hey, I'm in town. Can I pay you like $20, $25, whatever, come train?" Because like a lot of gyms are like that. And he's always like, "Don't worry about it. Just come by, train." Always feels like old friends. Always happy to see everybody. To me, it was like so much more than just like jiu-jitsu or a gym or fitness. I really felt like I was finding people who I connected with on this like higher level of like thinking and, the sport that we all share a passion for. So I just feel like a huge community here. Like every time I come home, I always come check it out.
And what advice would you have to someone, especially if they're a college student, thinking about trying jiu-jitsu?
I would tell them to try it and see what they get out of it. Because for me, it was always like at first it was about fitness and it was about like getting in shape and whatnot. But now doing it for, I think it's like going on 4 years. I've been training. It's so much more for me now. Like I get way more mental benefits from jiu-jitsu than I do physical, even though the physical is nice. But I find myself, at a higher level of thinking. I feel like I'm my best version of myself in everything I do, whether that was school at the time, managing stress, managing like my friendships and social events and whatever that looked like, or, going to the workforce, managing like my work-life balance, my family. I find myself to be like a better boyfriend. I'm a better friend. I'm a better student in a lot of ways, just because, I learn a lot of things here, like discipline, hard work, setting goals, and that's the stuff I've taken away and I've applied it to every aspect of my life. So if you come in, you step on the mats, like whether it's just something like, oh, I'm, more disciplined, you apply that to every area of your life. Or, wow, I've made a lot of friends. I can be social. It gets me out of my shell. You can apply that to other aspects of your life. And I think a big thing too is like things come and go. Life is up and down. But for me, jiu-jitsu has always been constant. Ever since I started training, wherever I go, it's always there. And it always like serves me.